Hello everybody and welcome to round 20 of the GT Planet Fantasy Series here at Road America. Getting ready to go for 32 laps around this very long course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. On the pole is Michelin in the number 99 City Financial Ford Fusion. Looking through the rest of the field here, you can see very close times all throughout the field, and 42 cars on today's grid. You see the field pulling off behind the Ford Fusion pace car and making their way down into the first corner on the pace lap. Very long pace laps around here, about 4 minutes time. Lots of things going on as we get closer and closer to the chase cutoff. Only about 6 rounds to go after today to decide the chase grid, and still a lot of teams looking to get their way into that 12-car field. They have to make do with what they have today along a very challenging racetrack with a lot of elevation change and a lot of off-camber corners. One corner that's not off camber is the sweeper. As you can see, the field working their way through on the pace lap here, 2x2 for 22 rows as they make their way through one of the only banked corners on this racetrack that shoots them into a very high-speed kink and down a back straightaway. Series of corners through Canada Corner, the furthest north of the track, and then a couple of S-bends underneath this Toyota signage to bring them to the final corner that will bring them over a massive hill to the start-finish line. Lots of twists and turns and left and rights, and before we can even get going, on board with Samurai 8 Juice here, you see an engine letting go on the number 25 of the B-Man. We've had issues with cars getting started on that uphill incline earlier on. They actually called off the start a couple of times. They finally got all 42 cars rolling, and unfortunately for the B-Man, once they got rolling, there was no going back, and his day ends before it even really gets started. But for 41 others, the green flag would fly, and Michelin would lead them down with SVX, a Ford and a Honda, and then a Toyota and a Chevy behind. Good brand representation in the first 2 rows. No Pontiac in sight though, but only 2 of those, and only a couple Audis in the field as well, and 1 Dodge. In through turn 1, Michelin gets off to a good start. It gets a small lead over the field here as they're 2x2. Everybody through nice and tidy through the first couple of corners. Apologies for the Fraps watermark covering up the lap counter in today's event. That will be addressed for the next round, but we'll have to make do as for now as they make their way through the first time through turns 3 and 4 and down into headed towards that sweeper we were seeing them in the pace lap. Still everything nice and tidy early on. Cybertron gets an early second place over SVX from that second row, moving up into the second position now as Michelin opens up a small gap. The field's starting to string out a little bit by the end of the first lap and through the sweeper. Everybody nice and calm, taking care of their car, and it'll take care of you is pretty much the case around these road courses, especially with how hectic they've been so far in the GT Planet Fantasy Series. Michelin leads lap 1 over to Cybertron, and then it's SVX from Quiet Girl from RCB. RCB having a good run as well as Quiet Girl early on here. Good qualifying efforts from both of them. The rest of the field making their way through, spreading out quite easily now. However, it's not one of the road courses where passing seems to be a challenge. It is a challenge at times, but there is no shortage of it. What there is a shortage of, though, is grass, as Niku driver HC goes through the dirt, has a little bit on the car there, and takes a pit stop. Now, this is not going to be terminal. He returns to the racetrack and makes an early lap 1 pit stop. Not what you wanted to see early on, but rather to take your knocks now and hope for a caution than have a penalty or something that would make you pit like that at the end of the race. Michelin runs a little bit wide here, and that opens the door for Cybertron to stick the nose in. Cybertron had a decent run going at Richmond last week, now side by side with Michelin. Door to door as they make their way now into the final corner. Remember what I just said about passing being challenging but not impossible, and Michelin might have a problem now as he goes wide through the final corner and opens the door for SVX. SVX is through, and now Quiet Girl knocking on the door on the back bumper of the 99, and Cybertron runs with that and easily now opens about a second and a half and 1 straightaway because Michelin was struggling and SVX couldn't quite complete the pass. Michelin does a good job to hang on to second, but now he's got some ground to make up if he's going to get back to the lead. Michelin looking to start putting some distance behind him onto the 87 now, as SVX went for second and ended up losing third to Quiet Girl. Quiet Girl looking incredibly strong. Remember, her first win came on the road course in Watkins Glen last year, and that was in a 4-hour race, a rather long race expected for today as well. keep an eye out on her. Maybe she can get another one here in Elkhart Lake. Race car, who had a fantastic race and took the victory at Richmond, looking to capitalize on that. His teammate right behind him in the number 30, but race car looking to put a bit of a statement out there as we get closer to the chase that he is a force to be reckoned with, and looking towards the back of the field right now. Didn't get the best qualifying run, but still looking to carry that momentum from last week. CUNY Kenosha and Whitetail side by side. Nearly some contact there. Now 3 wide as Vetman sticks his Audi underneath as they go through turn 3. That's a bit treacherous. Now through turn 4 under the bridge. Nice and tidy though. No real major contact, and everybody gets through in one piece. Kenosha gets the spot, then Whitetail, then Vetman. As they now make their way through the sweeper, we're looking at Eva, who is looking to also put a statement on. She's been doing pretty well recently, and is looking to try and nab some wins late in the season. The KANS team looking very strong through all 4 of their cars for the majority of the season. BK Glover looking to have a good run, and Goofy Tyler having a good run, but still looking for that first win. Of course, second place is eluding him. He ran very well in Richmond. Still looking for the first W. First problem of the day for Susan Mia. The 4 car comes down pit lane here. Not sure if it's a scheduled strategy, trying to throw a curveball or not. The 4 makes a very slow way down, and I believe it is a problem because the 4's still in the pit lane, and while that Honda's in the pit lane, Resharam, the rookie, is going to park right under the Sargento Cheese semi-truck billboard, and that is going to bring out the caution. So 2 Hondas have a failure in the same lap, and the 4 car is still in the pit lane. As you see there, the caution light's on the pace car, so Resharam brings out the caution, and both the Hondas having problems, but no smoke from either of them. So perhaps an electrical issue, not sure. And oh, Amaterasu blows the engine. There's some smoke. So within the course of a couple of laps here, we're not very far into this race yet. We've had 2 Hondas have an electrical issue of some sort, I would assume, something wrong. And now Amaterasu grenading the engine in quite a big way. So the Japanese manufacturer is not having a good time so far. But I guess that's kind of how you choose your battles, because the Toyota is leading still in the name of Cybertron and the Taco Bell Toyota. As you see the field make their way under, a quick look at how the field's running at the first caution flag. Getting near pit stop range. You can make it on a 1 stop here if you very much stretch it and split this race in half, 16 and 16, but it is asking quite a bit of the car and the fuel systems. See, the Cybertron pulls in. We're not quite to lap 16 yet, so the Cybertron, Michelin, Quiet Girl, all pit, as well as RCB, see COD Demon, a couple others coming in, but some drivers stay out. This is an interesting call. Those drivers here now going to try, I would assume, go to the halfway point, not going to want to save fuel. On board with Whitetail in the pit lane. Ooh, 3 wide. That is with Jock P22, and I believe that was Jaragini. It was. Another look at that. Bambi having a rather eventful day in the number 9 machine, getting into it with the 00 earlier. Lots of 3 wide for the number 9 today. Everybody got out of that cleanly, though. Just a little bit of contact, nothing too serious. There you see Niku driver HC. This will work out for him after that lap 1 pit stop. He's 1 lap better on fuel than everybody else. Pace car pulls off. SVX going to lead them down with, I believe that's Durr winning and CUNY Kenosha behind. Green flag in the air. There's Vetman, Raven 214, Jordan, Goofy Tyler, TBWHHS. This could work out greatly for a lot of these drivers. Side by side into turn 1. Durr winning goes for it on SVX. Can't quite get it done in the first corner. SVX holds on to first place for the time being as they all fan out behind. Here's the field headed into turn 2 now, and sending it towards turn 3. Now into turn 3, SVX still ahead of Durr winning, then CUNY, Raven, Vetman, Jordan, and TBWHHS as the rest of them come into your view. Full field minus the 4 car and the 25. Still 40 cars circulating at the moment. Here's a move for the lead the next lap by. Durr winning, taking a look. Right on SVX's nose. Boy, that is a bit of a risky move, and kicks some dust up for good measure, but that's going to put Durr winning into the lead with a rather aggressive move on SVX. SVX going to now fight with CUNY Kenosha to hold on to second place. The 2 rookies going at it, and SVX will win that battle. Looking back from SVX, Durr winning gets a big run down into turn 3, makes the move side by side. A little bit of contact, almost turned the 20, but he made it stick, so a good move overall for Durr winning, holding on to the control of the car and now taking control of the race. And Cutie getting up alongside now, not quite getting it done. Here comes Derwinning now with a bit of a gap over the 8 car. And now making him up the hill. Maybe no, they're going to actually go ahead and come into the pit lane now. So all those cars that stayed out make their way into the pits after only about a lap or two since we went green. And now Quiet Girl takes that advantage to try and go around to Cybertron, who would inherit the lead as they come by the start-finish line. As Cybertron leads the lap, Quiet Girl trying to go for the lead now, off into turn 1. Outbreaks the 31, but gets pinched a little bit. Hang on to it, they do, and Cybertron will hold on to the lead. Quiet Girl goes back to second, and now under fire from Michelin and Samurai 8 Juice for third. Samurai is going to get third on Michelin. Poor Michelin gets pushed wide again, and is now under fire for fourth place from Cod Demon. So they all make their way, Scuderia Lucas, and now they all come out of the pit lane. All those cars that stayed out under the caution. You see Suzumiya still in the pit lane, not sure what's wrong with the 4, but they're trying to work on it still. Here come the field through the kink. This is how they're running at the moment after these pit cycles are shuffling out. Everybody's kind of running where they were before the caution now, more or less. Here's Jaragini in front of Race Car, and another teammate now of Clayton Hardy right in front. Jaragini looking pretty strong. Jock P22. Oh, that is Skython, the only Dodge Dart in the field, losing his engine in front of GT22. Nowhere to go. We got cars spinning there. Another one involved, I believe that was Davis, who'd been working his way up through the field very well after starting on the back row. That's the 21 parking there, trying to get moving into the, I believe that's Doodle. Yeah, there's the engine going on the 11. You see a bunch of cars sliding in the oil. GT22 gets loose on exit, nowhere to go, runs into him. Gran Turismo 916 gets involved, and I think, actually, that might be the only 2 or 3 cars involved. I think the 21 got a piece of it somewhere, or may have been sliding in the oil, not sure, but that was the field coming to get the caution flag. You see we have Scuderia Lucas, RCB, and a couple others coming down the pit lane on this round of pit stops. That means they'll be good to go to the end. They don't have to worry about saving. Fisher comes in. He had a bit of damage from the wreck there. Doodle stays out. Quite a few cars do come in, though. The Cybertron does have the lead and gets the green flag here. You see Samurai 8 Juice, a lot of cars exploding right at the start there, trying to get all they can off into the first corner. You see Doodle still making moves after spinning there. He didn't lose too many positions in the grand scheme of things. After being involved in the incident. Side by side on back. Here's Audi Man 2011 having a really good run. He's needed that for a while. He's up in the top 5 right now, having a good day in the 43. Cybertron still holds station over Quiet Girl, Samurai 8 Juice, and Michelin. Clayton Hardy making a good run right now as well, carrying Race Car up with him. I think that worked out best for Race Car as he was in the back earlier on and now makes his way up towards the front. See the field making their way through at the moment. They all negotiating rather well. There's Derwinning getting pushed wide. He was leading earlier. Contact in the back. SVX gets hit from TVWHHS. Poor SVX has been used and abused today and has been fighting for, it seems, every single position. He's had a very eventful day, and he gets a little bit of a rear-end tap. Here's Goofy Tyler wheel-hopping it off in turn number 3. That's not ideal at all. Doesn't hit anything, though. Looks like he's going to be okay. He's just going to lose some time. Oh, maybe not, as he runs into the concrete there. He does get some damage from that, but he didn't initially. Looking at the pace car, no caution for the spin on the number 19. Goofy Tyler got it going in time, and no debris from hitting the wall. Here is how the leaders run and the full field, as you see it scrolling on the top left of your screen. Everybody kind of just getting into a rhythm now as we try to, they're all trying to save as much fuel and tires as they can, especially those that pit earlier. They're really going to have to stretch the limit here on fuel because they did pit before that halfway point, and that's asking an awful lot of the driver and the car. Team's doing a good job of negotiating. There's Goofy Tyler. He's still rolling. Hasn't lost a whole lot of time other than the spin. Here's the field running through as they make their way once again through the left-hander of turn 3. You can see the car starting to slide a bit as the tires wear out. Oh, car around in the foreground. That is Pink Kitty. She's gone around to the number 67 machine. Gets it going again. Wonder if she had any help there. She's going to go through the dirt. Let's see. Yeah, Derwinning. Oh, my goodness. Just absolutely plowed into the back of her. And Derwinning, we saw, went wide a minute ago and goes wide again on board just absolutely missed the braking zone, and that'll do it for you. Around goes the 67. No real damage to either of them, though, other than hurt feelings, and still no caution. Now Akmuck gets into the back of Doodle and goes around. Wheel hopped it all the way into the back of the 21. Good job by Doodle hanging on to the 21 machine after getting hit there, and Akmuck keeps going. And oh, SVX grenades the engine right in the middle of this, and that's another Honda out of the race, and that's not good, and that is a sad thing to see. But a very eventful day for SVX comes to a close at the top of the hill at turn 5. Goofy Tyler goes by, and that will bring out the caution. And it's not a very good sight to see two Hondas parked in the pit lane like that, but that is the case today. Honda has not had a good weekend so far, despite being relatively quick early on. Here's the field making their way to the pace car. Not a lot of race left at this point. It's going to be interesting to see if anybody decides that pitting is worth it. I don't think we're going to see many people pit, though. I think this might be enough to help those drivers that pit early save the fuel they need to get to the end. Oh no, Clayton Hardy loses the engine from 6th. So another Toyota now having issues. So the Japanese teams, all of them with the Japanese manufacturer, probably sweating right about now because 2 Hondas, 2 Toyotas out of the race. But 1 leading, so I guess you get them as they come. Maybe Jock P22 with an issue as well, maybe just faking out the pit lane, not sure. It looks like nobody else is going to pit except for Clayton. I think maybe Jock thought about pitting and then switched back when he saw nobody else joining him. With track position being so important here, I wouldn't put that out of possibilities. So here we go, a handful of laps to go, green flag in the air, Samurai 8 Juice up into second now. Look at Michelin gets a good start. The Cybertron still leads. Quiet Girl still in the mix as well. Race car inside the top 5. Here comes Quiet Girl on Samurai 8 Juice. Gets into the back bumper of the 77, but Samurai is going to go ahead and take the position pretty cleanly. Now he can set his sights onto Cybertron because we've seen most of the passes being sent through turn 1, not so much through turns 2 or 3. And it won't take long because Samurai 8 Juice is all over the back of the 31 of the Cybertron with only a couple of laps to go. Coming through the final corner, it looks like he might have a shot. No, the 77 comes into the pit lane, out of gas. Same for Audi Man 2011, Jaragini, Whitetail, several cars out of gas, Eva in the pit lane as well. This really is going to make everybody sweat that pit on that first caution flag. Doodle in and Duststone. See Akmuck as well. Look at all the cars coming in the pit lane here in a big battle in the mid-pack, but everybody's probably sweating a bit now. They're all coming in for gas and go with only a handful of laps left, and now to Cybertron's mission is just save fuel because he pit with a lot of these guys pit together, so it's all about how much fuel they save. And the Cybertron's going to come around now, stays out, coming to the first. Yeah, we've only got about a lap or 2 to go. Stays out. Looks like they're all going to be okay for the top 5, 6, 7, maybe top 10, top 15. Looks like all these guys are good to go. No one else really coming into the pit lane now. So they're all hanging in there. Looking pretty good. Here's Samurai 8 Juice. Here's what was going on. Oh, Cod Demon loses the engine. Scuderia Lucas, excuse me, still getting used to that name change. And the engine goes on the first American car of the day. And now everybody kind of sweating in the paddock, but with only a couple laps to go. The 1 car parks right before the sweeper. That is a very dangerous spot to park, and the caution has to come out, which means this race will end under caution, which means the Cybertron should win. Granted, he has enough fuel to make it to the checkered flag. He does take the caution. Everybody behind him takes the caution. No problems there. He's going to catch the pace car with a 3-second gap over Quiet Girl. These guys really do. Everybody's clutch coasting at this point. It's going to be very quiet pace laps because everyone's going to have the neutral gear in. Coming to the checkered flag, though, Cybertron will not have enough. He comes into the pit lane. Jock P22 stays out. This is going to be very interesting. Where are their pit boxes at is going to be the question. I don't know why they didn't stay out behind the pace car, but coming down pit lane to the checkered flag, it's going to be very close because there are drivers that have enough fuel. Jock P22 might just make it to the finish line first. Coming to the checkers, it looks like the Cybertron will hold on to win. And I think, yeah, everybody here is going to hold on to win because several of them don't have enough fuel for the pace lap, but they do bring it down pit lane. Very risky moves because of the pit lane speed is slower than the pace speed. You see, Tired Iron really the only one to get burnt on that because his pit box was before the pit lane. So you can see They've retired from the race, but crossed the line in an orderly fashion. And your winner is indeed going to be Cybertron. You see them making their way through the field on your left-hand side now. A lot of drivers in the top 10, not enough to keep going, though. But they will be scored as they cross the start-finish line. And very lucky there. I believe Jock P22 might have picked up 1 or 2 positions. You see the running order on your left-hand side where they all panned out. Jordan had a very good run. Durr winning despite getting into some drama as well. CUNY Kenosha had a very strong run today as well. She's been needing one of those, as well as BK Glover. Good runs there. Samurai 8 Juice was up front earlier. Remember, he had to make that pit stop with a couple laps to go. That really took him out of contention. How about Racecar finishing 3rd as well after winning last week? And Quiet Girl with a very strong run on the road courses, as she always seems to be here. So, no burnouts for the number 31 machine of Cybertron, but it is going to be the victory. So congratulations to him and his team. It's going to be a very strong run for him, while some of the other Toyota drivers and Hondas were having engine issues. He saves enough fuel and will take the checkered flag. So congrats to him. We'll see you next time here on GT Planet Fantasy Series. Thanks so much for watching.